Welcome to Better Radio, episode 15. My name is Liam Marr.
Already?
Yeah, 15. That's a quarter century, obviously.
Nope.
Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well.
Would you like to introduce our guest?
Absolutely. So we have the man behind the curtain of Wicked and Everything, the producer, director, editor, writer of Fake Nerds Updates with me, and all around, this whole channel would not exist without him, Mr. Tamur Qutab.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to more. How are you
Glad
doing
to
today?
be here, finally on the channel.
Finally, on this channel,
Long-time
yes.
listener
Long-time listener,
of
first-time
the show.
guest.
First-time guest.
So, yeah, how's it going?
It's going well. Excited to talk shop with you guys.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome.
We're gonna film some Itch.io shows today, and we figured, why not have a crossover between that and Better Radio, and so
What's an Itch.io show?
the Itch.io show, right? Or no, is it the Itch.io?
We've gone through different names.
Mhm.
There's the Itch.io show, or we were also thinking about renaming it show.io because
Right.
then we don't owe Itch.io any money.
Mhm.
But
We don't want to owe anyone any money,
yeah.
as we
We
have
don't
no money.
have any money. We're not
Yeah.
making any money off
Mhm.
the channel yet. But yeah, the Itch.io show, as it's currently named, is a sort of Let's Play series that we do on Wicked Good Everything, where we play through free games on Itch.io, and sort of most of them are broken.
Mhm.
A lot of them are like, indie developers.
Yeah.
We don't pay for their games, which is always sad, but
Yeah.
it's...
One day, if you
fun.
guys watch us enough and we make a lot of money, we'll be able to pay the developers from
Yeah.
our games. Do a whole episode where we just go back and pay people.
That'd be fun. Yeah, go through every game and just like donate $1, $5. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's exciting. Always some of our best videos, I would say, on the channel. Most fun, certainly, to film because they're silly and weird. And yeah, kind of like your passion project for the channel, right?
Yeah, definitely. I had this idea like probably even before we made the channel,
Mhm.
which I mean it's been almost 2 years now,
Right.
right? And finally we kind of got it rolling at the beginning of this year, and yeah, it's definitely my favorite to work on and to edit because it's just like you can get so wacky with like the edits and
Yeah, you go super hard in the
yeah.
paint. It's hilarious.
So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, but other than that, other than running this channel, you are a professional video editor.
I am. Yeah, I edit, commercials, sometimes short films. Yeah, I mean, kind of everything. Social content, anything like that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Where'd you go to school?
Went to SUNY Purchase
Nice.
in New York. It's like 40 minutes out of the city, and now I live in Brooklyn.
Oh,
So,
that's exciting.
yeah.
What's your
Which is
favorite?
hard because all the rest of us are in Massachusetts, so tomorrow we'll drive all the way from New York just to film stuff
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
drive home.
What's your favorite part of living in New York?
Let's see. I mean, probably just that there's so much stuff going on at all times. Like any weekend, you can find something going on. Any weekday, really. I mean, even like the comedy scene is just like booming at any moment. You can like,
That's exciting.
do something. You can run into like famous comics or like
Yeah.
people you admire just like on the street and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Like a friend of mine saw Louis C.K. walking down the street the other day.
Wow. Good friend.
So
It's less cool than it was like a year or
I'd be
so ago.
psyched. I would be so excited.
I
You
know.
know, you can masturbate in front of me anytime, Louis.
I would be.
He's like, trying to put that behind me, please.
I know.
And I was like, yeah, but I'll just, if you can get me on a show, man, you can, I'll let him.
You can do
But
whatever you want.
yeah, that's pretty much how I'd
Again, please.
be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not
I would-
trying to talk about that anymore.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's sweet though. How did Louis? Was this before or after?
So this was after. This was pretty recent, and I guess it was awkward because they were like the only two people on the street. It was like kind of a side street, so it's just like, the last person you would expect to run into, just like Louis, kind of avoiding eye contact and stuff.
Wow. Did they talk?
No, I think my friend was just like, "Whoa."
And he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's pretty wild. I gotta move to New York and figure
What's-
out what street that was. Just hang out there.
What's
all the time.
what's the biggest celebrity you've ever seen? Like in passing?
Let's see. Probably. What's her name from Melancholia and Spider-Man? You know, what's Kirsten Dunst?
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst.
I
That's cool.
saw her on the subway. It was kind of funny because I didn't know it was her at first. I just was like minding my own business, standing there, like literally, like, you know, she was right up to my crotch essentially. 'Cause she was sitting and I was standing.
Yeah, that's good.
And
Great way to Tarantino this story.
and yeah, and then I heard her speaking to someone, and I was like, wait a second, that voice, that's Kirsten Dunst. And she seemed really nice because it was just like a stranger, like a random dude, and they were just like chatting it up. Yeah.
New York, man.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're from Massachusetts. The only time when I would run into people of note in the subway in Boston was like people we went to high school with, and we'd both like awkwardly pretend that we didn't know each other because we weren't friends or anything. But it sounds a lot better in New York to run into celebrities.
Yeah, and that's
than
that. I mean, to that point, it's great because I don't run into anyone from like high school or from like past lives.
And I feel like if you did, it would actually be exciting because it's like, what? Why? Are you,
Yeah.
like, why are you here?
Well, yeah, apparently. Maybe I shouldn't mention names.
No.
There's someone who he went to high school with who does live in Brooklyn. I thought I saw him once when I was driving.
Right.
But yeah, as far as I know, there's not too many, like, you know, Wachusett folks around.
Shout out,
Wachusett.
Oh man. So I guess kind of let's talk a little bit about how'd you get into like filmmaking, and then how did like your journey for the channel and stuff come about? You know, because we've been working together for a long time, but there obviously was stuff before that, like you getting into making movies and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we started making movies together probably when we were like, I don't know, 14.
Yeah,
It's been a while, and I would say most of my movie making career has been with you, just making like zombie
Sorry
movies.
about that.
No, that's a good thing for sure. But I guess before that, yeah, I mean, I was making movies with my brothers, with Chris Lamoth, who you know.
Friend of the channel.
Yeah, childhood friend. And then before that, when I lived in Worcester, I was making movies with my childhood friends. And I guess I've just always been interested in cameras and how you can just like record something and then watch it back and laugh at yourselves and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, do you have any questions, Liam? Feel free to jump in.
What's your favorite movie, Tamur?
I'm offended that you asked that.
What's like the movie that comes to mind immediately when you think about it?
No, I can't.
No?
I'm leaving. Like,
All right.
you can't ask filmmakers that question.
All right.
Oh, no.
Don't you know that?
Can you freestyle?
Can I freestyle as in like rapping?
Yeah. Those are my only questions. So.
Those are your only two that you
I
prepared?
Only two I had prepared.
Well, first answer, fuck off. Second answer, no. Sorry.
All right. That's fine. That's fine. Interesting about the so if like you had a gun to your head, what would be your favorite movie?
You're not gonna drop this.
No.
If I had a gun to my head
Yeah.
and I had to name my favorite movie, this is why it's so hard.
Right.
Because it also it's the sort of thing that like changes.
Okay.
Like,
Do you have
all the
movies
time.
that you would consider?
I guess
like
better question for filmmakers, it would be, what movies influence your work?
Influence my work. Okay, there we go. See, that's a question. That's a good question.
Thanks. I listen to a lot of like pretentious podcasts where they talk to filmmakers.
Okay.
Totally stole it.
And I guess so. Do you know Lost in Translation?
I know of it.
That's one of my favorite movies. One of the films that sort of like inspired me throughout college and stuff like that, as well as Fallen Angels, which is like a Hong Kong film. Totally like, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's really cool. It's a really cool like stylized sort of film about three separate like lonely people living in Hong Kong and just their lives and how they like slightly intersect and stuff like that. But I guess lately I've been watching a lot more like nonfiction documentaries and stuff like that.
Oh,
Mostly,
cool.
I guess for my job I have to watch a lot. But
What have you been watching?
a lot of like, let's see, a lot of like actually depressing shit.
Fair enough.
Like kids in juvie or drug addicts, stuff like that. Which it's you know it's surprisingly hard to like capture that
jailbait?
story. What's that?
Do you mean jailbait?
Jailbait?
Yeah, is that what you meant?
No,
You've been watching
juvie.
non-fiction jailbait? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm watching a lot of nonfiction, like black on white, like
That's
porn.
just pornography. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
girl
all right.
on girl. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's good.
Like,
That's good. It's for your job. That's
it's fun stuff.
yeah.
Forgot
Roy's
to mention
actually
that.
a porn producer
Yeah.
now on the side.
Dude, I'd be so into that. I'd watch. I'd trust your input.
That's like secretly my dream. Like I know I have the skills to do it.
Yeah,
But
you
I got
could
faith
easily
in him.
do it.
Yeah.
But I got to find a connection in the industry.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
You can make your own connections. There's people
Make
out
my
there.
own film.
Yeah, make your own film tomorrow. That's what I'm saying.
An indie porn.
That's what. Yeah, call it that. Have a trailer.
An indie porno is
Yeah.
the name of the
Get a
kind
ch-
of a self-referential title. You could probably, honestly, you could probably like submit that to festivals, like if it has like a kind of indie-ish story along with just porn scenes,
Yeah.
and name it an indie porno, and I think festivals
Starring
would
Michael
actually-
Cera.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think festivals would actually like that a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry, yeah, I didn't mean to derail there. I see you got some probiotic you're drinking right now.
Yeah, I got some
Kombucha.
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 Getting lit on the kombucha.
Mhm.
How many of those do you think you gotta drink to
I
tell
can't
other
drunk?
people that you drink it?
How many do you have to drink to tell people
Yeah,
that
I've noticed
I
something
think
with
you
kombucha
have to, like,
drinkers.
you have to make your own?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's like when you're really in the inn.
Right.
Yeah,
You're not a real kombucha drinker until you brew your own kombucha.
exactly.
I like the guava
Guava juice.
juice. Yeah, fan of that. Big fan of that.
Yeah.
Guava kombucha or just guava juice in general?
Guava kombucha. It was
I don't think I've had that actually.
It's good. It's good. Tastes great. Big fan of it. I felt great for like the next 3 days. I'd never felt better actually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was, best thing I've ever. Best. I would recommend buying stock in that company.
In it.
Being honest, yeah, that's just gonna change the world.
Who knew?
Yeah.
That sounds delicious.
What are the chips you got there?
Oh, these are ranch flavored grain free tortilla chips made out of.
Not a sponsor yet.
No, I wish.
They're good.
Siete. Amazing chips made out of cassava. Gluten free, dairy free, vegan, paleo.
Mhm.
We got the kombucha. We got the paleo options.
Any factor?
I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm being a dick with like.
No.
this I
no.
I'm gonna switch.
I'm just. I mean. I don't think you're being a dick now that you've taken them off. But
I'm
it is a lot less menacing. I thought you were gonna shoot a porno over here. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
sorry.
goal.
oh.
I just want to tell the audience I'm not usually like this. I switched my sunglasses to my usual glasses. I couldn't really see anything for that first.
Do I bet
Part
you're
of the
probably
episode.
blind? That's
That's
pretty
very blind.
Yeah.
Oh
Must
man.
I was blinded by my pretentiousness.
Oh man. But yeah, no. Getting back to that. What's So you're like an indie YouTuber and an indie filmmaker. How do those two worlds like connect? Do people who just do the film grind look down on people who do YouTube, or is it like?
I think so. I mean,
Like straight up, yes,
Totally.
they do.
to me, definitely not. I think, my personal opinion is that YouTube and like sort of, I think there's a larger umbrella of like this new sort of way of editing things, which is like very based off of memes and like getting sort of the attention of people. And I think there's kind of a fine balance between like just, bullshit like zooming in
Yeah.
and just to like get people's attention, and then like real comedy, which you can derive out of it.
Yeah, people will be like, wow, and then like zoom in,
Yeah.
like on their face when they're saying something like that they can't believe about some
Yeah.
other YouTuber. I don't know. I watch a lot of commentary channels. I don't know what
Yeah.
is the prevalent YouTube stuff now.
No, totally. That's like, yeah, exactly. Those sort of channels, like,
Mhm.
totally, I think, overuse that just because they've seen it done
Mhm.
before. But at the same time, I think there's a lot to learn from that, like, sort of way of editing, which I
Mhm.
think, like, even, like, you know, PewDiePie's old editor, Brad, you know, he was, like, really ahead of the curve in that way.
Mhm.
And, but I do think, like, in general, people in the film industry probably don't, you know, respect that at all and just think of
Mhm.
YouTubers as, like, you know, just sort of kids like playing with their like
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
their bullshit.
Is that hard for you considering like you make like some pretty in depth like edits for our videos and you're just like no, it's like it's actually real work in like filmmaking.
Yeah,
You know?
it takes time. Yeah, no, exactly. I don't know. I guess my friend group in the film industry is
Mhm.
actually like pretty supportive, and they're kind of all for like doing what you want because there's so many people who just in the film industry who just for like money they'll like work at like you know a place where you Photoshop models and
Mhm.
it's like bullshit work and it's not
Mhm.
fun, or you'll be like editing videos for like some BuzzFeed type company and you're not like really enjoying it,
Yeah,
but
some
you want to
company
make money.
trying to be BuzzFeed, they don't
Yeah.
realize that that's like not a thing that you can do anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so my friend group is totally like supportive and it's they're like, yeah, like if you're happy like doing it, like totally go for it.
Right. Right. How do you think like so I think and not to like toot our own horn, but I think when we make even the urban legends videos, right? Like in my head I was like, all right, this will take like 10 minutes to film, but then you were like, no, we're going to get all these different angles, we're going to make it look professional. How, like when you put that into it and then you see like maybe some bigger YouTuber or like sketch comedy stuff where it's just like literally the camera work consists of like a quick zoom in
Right.
and that's it, and there's like really shaky like for you is it like oh man, I wish they would put more work into this because they have such a big platform. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of like sometimes. Like
Yeah.
when I see more like famous sketch stuff, like I like it because it's funny and that's good, and like it's cool that they're making it. But it's also like, damn, dude, you got 1 million subscribers. Like, hire someone to make your video. But maybe there is something like people like that more on the internet because it's like homemade. I don't know. Did that question make any sense?
No, it makes sense.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say no.
No, I feel
No,
like
it did not, Brian.
I feel like it's a fine line. Like, it's also it really depends on the person and what sort of presence they bring. Like, you know, like I feel like a good example is Gus Johnson, who's
Yeah.
like, you know, his approach is very much like there's no setup lighting as far as you can tell. You know, he usually just gets his friend to like shoot it or like his roommate. And you know they're all talented, I think, at this point in their own right. But
They're all
especially
funny
when he
and-
first started, it was probably just like
A
you know his
camera.
friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it works for him for sure. But then if you compare that to like early college humor stuff, which is very much produced and like
Right.
you know definitely had like a film crew, it was all written, it was all
And I feel like that's what we've tried to emulate. Even when we were
Yeah.
making sketches back in the day, like I feel like our sketches looked decent, like for 14-year-olds in a public library making probably
right.
edgy sketches at the time. Like, you know, we definitely tried to make like we were trying to make films, but on
Yeah.
a small scale.
Yeah,
So-
I remember like our first shoot, the library. It was in the library. What was it called?
Stop and
Got
go.
I got your
Nose.
nose. Oh yeah, I got your nose.
Oh.
That was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
I remember that shit.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
our very first like real thing, and I remember like setting up the camera to like get each angle,
Yeah.
and I remember everyone else on set was just like, why don't we just like you know,
Film. Like,
Yeah, like-
whatever, like all at once.
yeah, but it was like a moment of like, oh wait, you know what, we should do this like a film and like get the angles, and then I'll cut you know in between them or whatever.
Yeah. No, that was an amazing moment for me because I'd never, like, I very much, like, I had a camera, like a mini DV camera, and, like, I'm sure you probably can't even find my old YouTube channel, but if anyone ever does, like, it's shitty. It's just like filming like from POV, but the camera is still a character, like because it's just like. But then like once we started hanging out, and you started teaching me, I was like, oh, okay, I get this more. But you learn. That's how you get.
Yeah.
I Get Your Nose was a great filming experience. I definitely felt like, wow, this is like amazing. We could actually make a movie.
Yeah.
In like some basement.
Yeah, and I totally learned that stuff from like film camps and stuff like that over the summers. So, it's just like you just learn it over time.
Yeah. Now you're getting into making movies and stuff with one of Tamur's friends too. Right?
Yeah, no, any connections I've made have been through Tamur. So just secondhanded from Tamur. I got involved on a short film set recently, and that was an awesome experience. Got my, met some really cool people, and I don't know, it was definitely. I also did like some, I don't know, extra acting on another set once, which was fun. No, it's definitely, and then Tamur, I know you can attest to this. It's definitely like when you thought about like making movies, right, or what people think about making movies is definitely like totally not what it is. It's like being on a set is, there's moments where it's boring. It's boring, a lot of waiting around and stuff, but it is crazy because like I remember the guy, like we had a really really awesome cinematographer on the set of the short film, and he would like play back a scene, and it was just like, oh my god, that looks like that's so much better than like what I.
Good.
Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, no, it's a cool world to get in, and I'm immensely appreciative of the opportunities I got through you, Tamur.
No, yeah, for sure.
You're like my Harvey Weinstein,
Oh God.
That's what you want me to say. Yes, get those glasses back on. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Disclaimer: Tamur's
that's a
nothing
clip.
like
That should be. That was hilarious.
Like it's totally like what you're saying. You kind of don't realize like how much goes into it until you're really there, and it's always like incredible to me when something actually like comes together and happens, just because you need all of these moving pieces to come together to actually get it to like work, let alone be good in the end. You have to like get everyone there, transportation, you have to get everyone food, you have to like feed an army, you have to take care of them,
right,
and then they have to do their jobs well, and you can't like piss anyone off, or else their like performance will go down.
Right.
It's like
it's hard because it's like everyone has their specialty, but also you have your vision, and you have to balance like you have to. I guess there's probably a lot of trust in filmmaking. Like someone's setting up the lights, and as a director, you got to be like, I trust that you know what you're doing, that you're gonna do this right for me.
Hopefully,
right?
Yeah.
That, like,
hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely. That helps because you don't have like the stress of like, oh, I hope the makeup is like good, and I don't have to keep like telling them to like fix it or whatever. If you just like trust them, or that's honestly why people they work with the same people over and over again, just because they make the connection and they're like, I remember you were good at lighting, I'm gonna hire you again.
Of course. Obviously you have that experience, and then with YouTube, what have been some of like the struggles of like getting discovered, making videos, like from this venture? Obviously, like talking more like we put a lot of work into stuff, and obviously not complaining, like YouTube's whatever, like we wish we could get more views, but I just like, as a professional editor, as someone who is a professional level, like, and we haven't had like consistent big success. We've had videos blow up and stuff, but like, what's that kind of been like for you? Like, obviously I know because we have conversations, but I want like.
Yeah, and that's obviously like ongoing as well. I'm assuming this will be on our second channel, which it doesn't have as many subscribers as our first channel, but even our first channel, we would of course like it to be bigger. And it's tough because you see people who, as we mentioned earlier, just don't put a ton of work into their stuff, but still get like some traction and a lot of views and stuff like that. And then you sort of analyze your own work and you're like, but I put a ton of work in this and I think it's good. Like I feel like I can say that it's it's decent enough that if I got eyes on it, people would like it. I think about that with Ichio Show all the time. I'm like, if only like we could find the audience.
Gotta find that Ichio, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's good.
It was just like, what the fuck?
That's great.
Why did you say that?
That was great. That was definitely worth saying. Definitely was worth saying. Like,
I saw it and I went for it. And
we know.
I regret it immensely. I wish I hadn't, but this is what it is.
It was, we went 27 something minutes before.
Ruined the podcast at 27 minutes.
Wow, that was good. Tamur, what you got any hobbies other than everything that we've been discussing? You got any?
Let's see. Of course, I'm a gamer.
A gamer. What do you like to game? What do you like to game, Tamur? You like to game?
Rise up.
Well,
speak up.
So lately, I've been playing Gears.
Rise up like the meme.
Rise up. Lately I've been playing Gears 5, which is really fun and really
Segment's
really
brought to you by Microsoft. Keep going.
Brought to you by Microsoft. I've been like a diehard Gears fan since like the first game. Played all of them.
Talk about that.
Yeah, Gears was the franchise that when it came out, all like Xbox owners were just like, "Yo, sup? We got Gears of War."
Yeah.
PlayStation, and PlayStation was. I mean, times have changed. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah. Do you think Gears of War is nearly as relevant as it used to be? Fortunately,
I don't think so because they just haven't really changed all that much.
Yeah.
Which to me, it's still fun. It still works. I love the mechanics. But when it first came out, it was like, oh, you can like hide behind things, and no one had really done that ducking mechanic. Yeah, that influenced so many third-person shooters, like probably forever. Yeah, like that mechanic of cover. Yeah. I don't know. I want to root for Microsoft. I'm an Xbox fan, as I know you are, over PlayStation, but.
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'm necessarily.
Don't say that.
Yeah, I know. Like that's. I don't. I think.
I know you.
Xbox has dropped
threw
the
your
ball.
PlayStation out the window. When you're only.
No. This generation's like pretty. Like as an Xbox fan, was pretty lame. I guess there were some like diamonds in the rough. Like Sunset Overdrive is like one of the best, most original and fun games I played all gen, and it just I didn't want it to end. But like not enough people played that shit. And now Sony owns the studio. Now Sony owns the studio and subsequently the IP. Like, but
Sunset Overdrive 2 will be an exclusive on PlayStation probably.
Microsoft did a pretty good job like sowing the seeds for next gen. Like for some perspective, like they bought a company that just made the Outer Worlds. Yeah, Obsidian, right? Yeah. Right.
Outer Worlds is fucking awesome.
I haven't really played it that much.
I've only played like an hour, but
it's fucking
It was definitely really cool when I played it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Outer Worlds, I was playing last night, and this is why I don't play RPGs very much, because, like, if I start a task, I'm like, I should finish this, and then, like, everyone you talk to in Outer Worlds gives you a mission to do. So I was, like, trying to complete a mission last night, and then, like, I didn't finish it and got 5 more missions trying to complete a mission, and I was like, I need to go to bed, or I'm going to be up all night. Yeah. But it's great.
I'm into the new Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I think it's sweet. It totally is just immediate gratification every time you play. Mm-hmm. It's very quick. Everything's fast. Flashy colors. I don't have to think. Mm-hmm. It's good.
I don't have to think.
Yeah, I don't have to think at all. It's a lot of fun.
The campaign was really fun.
Yeah, that was good. That made you think. That made you ponder all the people you were killing ruthlessly.
It makes you think.
Because of how good it looked while you were committing war crimes.
Whoa. I don't know if your character committed any war crimes.
You could if you tried.
War crimes were adjacent to him.
There were a number of characters, and I definitely committed multiple war crimes in that game. I don't know what you're talking about.
The one thing in Call of Duty campaign I've noticed is like there are a few times where I definitely accidentally shot my comrades and they died, and no one said anything.
That's very realistic. Super realistic. That's kind of friendly fire is very common in real life.
I mean,
It's actually
Those are
90% of people that die as a result
It's
of
a
friendly
really
fire.
bad
What?
joke.
In all
90%?
wars. In all wars.
all wars.
Every war that's ever happened. It's about 90%.
Well, guns have only been around for what?
Wars have only been around a few years longer, so.
It's like, right. Definitely.
Well, in the old Call of Duty games, you would have to like restart from your checkpoint if you shot your
Yeah,
teammates.
that's what I thought.
And then
I
they were
think-
just like, no, it's.
I think you're
kill.
like allowed to kill one or two if
Mm-hmm.
the game can register as an accident. But if you just like if all the characters are just like sitting down and you just start like lining them up and taking heads off, yeah. What I thought, the game would call you on it.
Yeah.
Did you ever play like the old like Halo campaigns?
Mm-hmm.
As Master Chief, right? You could
Yeah, you can
like
kill
come
everyone, right?
you would come into a base of like Marines
Right.
and just like kill every single one of them systematically as
to
they
take their weapons.
they run it. Yeah, they'll like be running in fear and shit, and you can just get to the next area and the new characters will load and you'll still be a hero to all the soldiers.
Very
Michelle
realistic.
Rodriguez.
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
a voice actor in Halo 2.
She was for that bridge sequence,
Yeah,
I believe.
in
Yeah.
Newman Bonnie? No.
Newman Bossa, nice try,
Newman
buddy.
Bossa.
That's Overwatch.
Yeah,
Nambani.
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 Oh man, I'm sorry. So you've
Not even
worked
sure
on
it's Newman Bossa.
you've worked on a lot of indie film sets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
who would you say is the best actor you've worked with? For YouTube videos, even also, or indie films for actors. you know?
Excluding people on this podcast.
I mean, you can include people on this podcast if you want.
I feel like this is turning into a loaded question.
I don't think so. But,
Let me think.
I think I'm gonna say you, Brian.
I'm just thinking pretty hard.
Yeah, he
This is not a
is.
good sign.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of. I mean, so what do you mean by best? Best at like playing that character, or best at like I don't know, just being like good at like improvising on the spot, or because
Yeah,
there's some
I mean-
actors who just like
What would you say? I'm
outshine
good
the
at?
script.
So I'm into that.
Because
who,
that answer.
who outshines
No.
the script?
No, anyways. But for real.
Um,
And actors you've just enjoyed working with. You
Yeah.
don't have to talk about people on this podcast.
So he's become a good friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
Dan Simon, who he's directed 2 feature films, which I've been fortunate enough to like work on.
Right.
And he's just such a good actor because he's also a writer, and he's also like directed, and he's done
Right,
like theater and stuff like that. So
right.
he's just like really well rounded, and
Yeah.
he brings so much more out of the character than you would like just read on the page. And plus, he's just like really funny on set and
Right,
like
right.
very non PC, so he can make things really fun. And yeah.
He's not woke, is what you're saying.
No, definitely not. He's kind of a Bill Burr type.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a cool
He's
guy.
really
to-
fun on set.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you if you had infinite budget and access to any like the rights of any pre-existing film franchise,
Mm.
what would you? And you had to make a sequel to something. What would it be?
Yeah, I was gonna say Tamur would definitely be the type to not want
I
to make an
know.
original
That's
thing.
that's why I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you if you had to make something like a follow up to something.
A sequel to something
Yeah.
that doesn't have a sequel yet.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Or
hate
I mean, you could
sequels.
make a Marvel movie if you wanted to make a Marvel movie.
If you had to make a Marvel movie,
That's a whole other question. If I had to make a Marvel movie, I don't
I was like, I
know.
don't even watch Marvel
Yeah, I'm like
movies.
so behind on Marvel.
Mm.
I mean, maybe I would have to read Squirrel Girl. Maybe that'd be something
make
cool
a
to
Squirrel
explore
Girl
and
movie?
make it kind of like Scott
That'd be
Pilgrim-esque.
awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty
I
good
would
movie.
love to
Marvel,
see
you're
a-
listening. Hook
I would
tomorrow.
love
me.
to see a Squirrel Girl movie. That'd be
Directed by
fucking
Tamur
dope.
Qutab.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, I'm so into that.
As far as like a sequel, oh man, that's tough. I mean, part of me wants to like today I was reading about D&D dropping out of Star Wars, and
Yeah, we were talking about it in group
D-
chat.
Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, the
Dan-
creators.
Dave and Dan.
Even Dan.
Yeah.
Creators
See,
of Game of Thrones.
I always say D&D because I forget their names. But anyway, I was reading about that and I was like, it would be really fun to try and like save the Star Wars franchise in a
Right.
sense. But at the same time, it's such a mess. And
it's impossible. Even if you
it's
make
such
like a perfect Star Wars movie, people will hate you.
yeah, that's the thing. It's the fan base.
Can't
They have
please
such high
everybody.
expectations. But like,
Also,
I think that'd be
but,
really
like,
fun.
You know, some of those movies are bad.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
but what
100% on
what
that
I'm
page.
saying is like the Last Jedi. Obviously, I didn't like, but there are a ton of people who did like it. So if you made a movie that pleased the people who didn't like the Last Jedi,
Yeah.
it would piss off the other half of people who loved the Last Jedi. And it's like you can't win. You
Yeah.
I
can't
see what you're
make-
saying.
Yeah.
I heard D&D.
Mm.
I heard they wanted to no longer be a part of Star Wars, and they cited the toxic fan base as like
Yeah.
a big reason to
I
it.
wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to make Star Wars.
Yeah,
Fuck
because they
that.
just went through it with Game of Thrones,
Mm.
and it's like,
Well, they deserved everything they got.
yeah, I think you're right about that. But
Let's be clear.
but it's like, yeah, I
Making
mean,
a new one, they're making a prequel series, guys. You gonna watch it? I bet. You are.
Targaryens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, knowing how their
George R.
bloodline
Martin's
ends.
heavily involved with that.
sure he was the first time too. Worked out great then.
Yeah.
I think he's heavily involved and also not going to stop being involved
Maybe.
this time.
Not really sure it's up to him long term. What I'm talking about.
If HBO's smart, they'll find a way to get him a personal trainer. So
That's
mean.
funny. No, that's yeah. That was funny though. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I know they've lost a lot of goodwill. It's probably not going to be
That's
easy to be there.
for sure. Yeah.
Be either of those two guys. You could have created one of the most successful, the most successful television property probably ever,
Yeah. it is.
and you're hated for it.
Mm.
Like that's got to be a weird.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying this in the group. I do feel for them in a sense, just because it's got to be really hard to be. Game of Thrones was their first time show running ever.
Mm.
Like, then they've only done that.
Yeah.
They've had one show.
Was it really? How young are they?
They're not
They're
young.
40s,
They probably worked on writing and stuff like that, but that was their first time show running. And then after that, people just expected them to like balance 3 Star Wars films plus like Netflix shows and like all this stuff. But it's like, if you think about it, they only have experience with one project, and yes, it happened to be the biggest project to ever be on television.
Right.
But
Yeah, I
it's
think
got to be tough. And then
one of them, Benioff, wrote 25th Hour, the book, and then there's a
Oh, okay.
Norton movie. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And then one of them, maybe it was Benioff, maybe it was Weiss. One of them wrote some of one of the prequel X-Men movies, and then fucking Game of Thrones.
yeah. So
So.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel bad for them
Mm.
in a certain sense. Yes, they ruined the ending of Game of Thrones, but it's just the pressure of like everyone turning against you and then trying to move on from that and make
Right.
more stuff. It's like they don't have the experience of like balancing
Mm.
10 projects. Like even like Seth Rogen and
Mm.
his creative partner Evan
I see.
Goldberg.
Evan Goldberg. I get it now.
Yeah.
I'm
so-
with you. I was so lost too.
So even them, like they write stuff together
Mhm.
and they're like heads of all these different, like 10 different projects at any given
like
time.
Preacher, which is
Preacher,
a fucking full-time job
like,
in itself. And,
that movie with the little kids, Good
oh
Boys or
yeah,
something.
yeah, Good Boys.
like that. Like they have all these things going on at the same
Mhm.
time, plus their own like writing, and that's not uncommon for like
Mhm.
showrunners to be doing that and have like a company where they just are constantly
Mhm.
working on like several different projects.
Right.
But you have D&D who have been working on one show for 10 years,
Yeah.
and then they come out of it and you just assume like, yeah, let's have them like produce all this stuff because that show is successful. This stuff will be.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's really different too because they were like, I think they had one assistant, but other than that, every episode of Game of Thrones was either in by them, their assistant, or George R. R. Martin. That's
Really?
it. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
They didn't have a writer's room. It was them
Yeah.
writing
Wow.
the show.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
And that's
Seriously.
wow. Okay. I guess that gives it a different perspective. I thought it was like really? That's really wow.
And I will give them credit. They put together an amazing crew. Some of the like people who've become like really great directors, directed episodes of Game of Thrones. Like they've given opportunities to directors who are now like, oh yeah, I made all these Game of Thrones episodes, and now they're getting like feature movies. So like, Game of
Yeah.
Thrones is an important movie, and we are mad that the biffed the ending, but there are 6 really good seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And a 7th, and an 8th really bad season.
I didn't think. Okay, listen. I didn't think the 8th is as bad as everyone says it is.
I think it's just so disappointing that it like has become like worse in everyone's head, including mine.
Right.
I definitely thought that the like second to last episode was pretty entertaining. Like
When Daenerys just
I don't know if
everything
yeah
up.
yeah I thought it was just I just didn't think it was like well
was
done.
bold.
It wasn't well done. Yeah.
I think if they had 4 or 5 seasons to finish the story and have Daenerys' descent to madness be a slow crawl rather than a switch, which it felt like in the show, it was like
I don't know if I could
she's
watch another 4 or 5
virtuous,
seasons of that show.
Yeah. If I was responsible, this is my approach.
Okay.
yeah.
3 additional seasons instead of you scrap that 1 season, break it up into 3, and the arc for each season, which they can kind of overlap in some ways, is defeating the Night King, which you can save the ultimate conclusion for like the last season, but that's basically 1 season's arc essentially. Defeating what's the fuck her name? Cersei. And then once you're done with Cersei, you have to fucking face Bran as this as not even Bran, but they kind of slowly realize he's the three-eyed raven, and that's like its own kind of, or combine him with like Daenerys and like she's an enemy or something. But all 3 of those arcs need like a full
because Daenerys
season.
went from like virtuous to like fascist ruler in like this course of like 2 episodes to the point where she's like leading a Nuremberg style rally outside of King's Landing in the final episode. And I was like, what? So there could have been a slower descent into fascism.
Yeah.
She could have been the villain of the show, but we needed more time to accept that she was going to be the villain at the end of the show.
Exactly.
Because we love Daenerys, and we love Emilia Clarke, because she's awesome as Daenerys, and like, we spent so long being on her side to have her become bad at the last few episodes was a little too jarring.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
I was definitely I'm in agreement on most of that. I thought it just I think the thing everyone can agree with it was rushed.
It was rushed. I don't
rushed.
think Daenerys burning down King's Landing is like I can't believe this happened. I think there's a way it happens and makes sense, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, and even Bran becoming king, I can see that totally working. Like when he eventually writes the books, like I can see that working, but just the way it all happened was just kind of just awkward.
Do you think you're someone with more familiarity with the film side of everything? You saw those like stills of like the Starbucks coffee like being left.
Oh yeah.
Do you think
How does that happen?
How does that happen? Stuff like that. Like I would imagine. I don't know.
I think in that case, actually, because there's also like a water bottle in the last episode too. I think those are instances of just actors forgetting it there and like the crew not noticing. Because there's no way like someone like who's behind the camera would ever do that and like leave it in like the hot set.
Right.
It's got to be like Daenerys or Emilia Clarke like had coffee and she put it down before the take. Like in between takes, she needed like some caffeine or something. But like the fact that people like went wild.
Frame by frame,
I was just like,
let's just, in
dumb.
fairness, there is a car in Lord of the Rings in the
Yeah,
background
so
of one of the shots.
Yeah, just driving.
Just driving in the background of Gandalf and Sauron. Sauron having a chat. There's just a fucking Audi. I don't know what it was. It's just in the background. So it happens.
There's pterodactyls in Citizen Kane.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they in the last like
Because
one of
was
the
another
exterior
movie being filmed.
Yeah,
on the same
so
set?
back then movies were filmed on sets and it's like I mean they still are but like there were less moving around sets, right? It was on a film studio and from my understanding there was another movie about like dinosaurs and shit that they filmed like an exterior shot of his like I don't know where he lives. What's the name of his like
Xanadu.
Xanadu, yeah, outside Xanadu.
Mm.
And in the background you can see a pterodactyl just like
That's awesome.
yeah, it's sweet. It's a good movie too. Great movie.
Yeah,
I love Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
It's so funny though.
Yeah, no, it's so bad. Like it's totally worth looking like
Yeah,
up
yeah,
later.
watch it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Citizen Kane, great film.
Yeah. So what would be the sequel to Citizen Kane? That's the one you'd make? No.
Oh, sequel to Citizen Kane.
No, because
Yeah.
Liam had that question if you had it.
Well,
Here we
Putting
go.
the producer
make
glasses
a,
back on.
sequel to Citizen Kane.
I think I have a good story to tell.
Yeah. We're gonna get to the bottom of this rosebud thing.
Yeah.
Again. Who was the named after? You know.
Yeah. It's a gritty retelling of the inspiration of the name for Rosebud.
Spoilers for Citizen Kane.
Mm.
I hope that no one.
When did Citizen Kane come out?
1932, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think
30s.
there's enough time to where even if you haven't seen it, you've through pop culture osmosis.
For a lot of people, this is probably the
Yeah.
first time they've ever even heard of Citizen Kane. You know, they're just like, wow, these people with these insightful
Speaking of-
movie. No one's ever said that was a good
Speaking of
movie
movies
before
from
us.
that, I saw The Lighthouse. And I won't spoil. I won't go
Oh.
into it. But I really loved how he used techniques that seemingly were from like that era to make The
That's
Lighthouse.
awesome.
Like it looks like that style of film.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really.
I don't know.
looking
I
forward
liked
to
it a lot. That's all I'll
You
say
did?
about
You
it.
enjoyed it? Yeah.
I mean, those two are such good actors. They're amazing.
Mm.
And
I'm
to
telling.
carry a film, just the two of them, I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope people will come around to seeing Robert Pattinson as an amazing actor.
he's so good in it
He's-
that I think this is like the
Yeah.
ticket that people finally
I hope
forget
so.
about Twilight and finally
Yeah.
are like, yeah, he's an amazing
Yeah.
actor.
You guys seen, other than The Lighthouse, any other good movies recently?
Let's see. I have Letterboxed, so I can actually. Check
Oh yeah,
it.
you've been reviewing them. Hell yeah, follow Tamur on Letterboxd.
Oh, I'll follow you. I want to follow. I don't even know. I didn't know he was doing this.
So
I'll follow
Letterboxd,
that
yeah,
shit.
dude. You should make
media.
a count.
Make
It's
an
just a
account.
way to like. I can see like what Brian or Dylan are watching and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Dylan goes hard in the paint on that.
Does he?
He
Yeah.
loves it. Like,
Yeah.
I was at lunch with him the other day. He was writing a review on it.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's a
Loading.
fiend for Letterboxd.
It's loading right now, but up to the top of my list, I've been watching these films by this Argentinian director, and they're so funny. If you like Wes Anderson, you should definitely check out Martin Reitman. I think that's how you say it. It's RETJ MAN or something like that. But they're just so like melancholic and deadpan, but like funny and nonsensical at the same time. You know, like just like one of his films is about this kid who shoots himself in like the stomach and in the head and lives, and then just keeps like living his life. And it's not even really like mentioned again. It's just he just continues living, and he's like in like a flute quartet. So they're like playing flute, and it sounds nice, but his is like slightly off, and he's like, oh, I think it's like the bullet's like affecting my sound, and they're like, oh, all right, I guess we'll just continue. Like, can't really do anything.
Sounds really interesting.
Very
Yeah.
dark. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really funny director, but yeah, so definitely check him out.
Yeah, I saw Annihilation, which I didn't love because I read the book and preferred the book, but I think maybe if you haven't read the book, it might be better. You know what I mean? They changed a lot. Like, one of the more egregious examples of someone just changing, like, everything from the book. But I like that director, Ex Machina. It was amazing. So I wonder if... I don't know if Ex Machina was based on anything. I don't think it was.
No, I think that's his own story. He's such a good writer, Alex Garland, but I think he's definitely a better writer than he is a director. You know, he wrote like 28 Days Later, a lot of Danny Boyle's like earlier films.
Sunshine, I think he wrote too.
Yeah, Sunshine, which I think is super underrated. But yeah, I think Ex Machina. I actually didn't like Ex Machina when I first saw it. We saw it together actually. And it was because I realized it's because I saw it like 2 days after I saw Mad Max Fury Road, which is just insane balls to the walls like action and like it's so fun, and then
Yeah.
Ex Machina is just more like
Quiet,
intellectual,
like,
like you know. But I eventually came around to realizing it's like an amazing film.
Natalie Portman's super good in Annihilation.
Yeah.
She's a great actress, obviously. Like everyone knows, she's great. What
I
else
saw Hereditary.
Oh, how's that?
It was. So I think it was just hyped up for me too much. I did like it, but it felt like a sort of typical horror, which I wasn't expecting because that director he made Midsummer, which is very strange and I think that got like mixed reactions from people, but it's a horror, but in like a really new and like strange way because it's about like cults in Sweden and history and stuff like that. But Hereditary is kind of a more straightforward, like family lives in a house, something's like kind of haunting them, and then shit starts to go down, and things devolve from there. Yeah. But I do think it's it shows that he's like a really good director, that he could like bring it past just being like a cheesy horror film that didn't get a lot of attention.
Right. What about you, Lee? You seen anything good?
Last thing I saw was Joker.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
I enjoyed. I definitely think. I thought it was really weird, and I think other people pointed it out, but how bad people wanted something bad to happen with that movie.
Yeah, man, me too. There were like people warning, like you might get shot if you go see Joker.
Yeah.
And I went to think, I was like, why would someone? Why? Why? It's just a movie. Everyone needs to chill out.
I mean, yeah, it's just like. I don't know. I think maybe because we had another guy dress up we already had someone once dress up as a Joker at a Batman type movie and spree people, but like he, I don't know. I feel it's too trite, Yeah. I feel like if you're gonna go and do that, you don't want to be the guy who shot up another Batman movie. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix is amazing.
Oh, he's great, man.
I haven't seen it. No, yeah. I saw a clip though, and it's the part where he dances, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Apparently, he just improvised that. He was like, "Grab the cameras. I'm gonna try something out," and then Todd Phillips, is that his name? The director. He was just like, "Holy shit! Yeah, we're definitely keeping this."
Like this is actually legit, real life crazy that you're doing this. So we need to keep this in the film.
Yeah.
Wow.
I definitely enjoyed it. I wish we were talking about Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson is the next Batman, right?
Yeah.
It'd be really cool, although I don't think this is their intention at all, to have the Joaquin Phoenix Joker in one movie with the Robert Pattinson Batman.
I wish.
But I do think that's like the closest casting you can get to something as good as The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger and Christian Bale, who were some of the greatest actors even at that time. Christian Bale, I think, is probably like top 5 most like dedicated, talented. Yeah,
can just become
but
any role.
I would definitely put Joaquin Phoenix up there, probably like top 3, and then Robert Pattinson's definitely getting up there with like.
Is that good? I gotta see this.
Dude, you guys see The Lighthouse? He's
see
so
The Lighthouse.
Cool.
See Good Time.
Obviously, and like William Dafoe is gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Because he's like always amazing in everything, even as fucking Green Goblin.
Even as Green Goblin.
Yeah, and is there anything else you'd like to talk about on this episode?
Maybe this Blizzard China thing?
Well.
Do we want to talk about that? Nah, I don't know.
Well, I just wanted to mention to people, if you're not drinking craft beer, you're not really getting the real deal.
Beer.
Yeah, you might as well be drinking fucking piss.
Mm-hmm. That's what I always say.
It's smart.
It's
big.
You actually get craft beer, beer crafted from piss. That's like the real craft beer.
That sounds disgusting.
Homebrew.
Yeah, it's not about it. Not about it being good. It's about it being pretentious.
Yeah, dude, you can make beer out of your piss. That's sweet.
Oh man.
Do we need more time for the podcast? I can talk about the Blizzard thing a little bit if we want to.
We can go. We're at an hour now.
We're at an hour.
Longer, whatever.
I guess we can talk about the Blizzard thing just briefly so that you have the option.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about it, it's going to go in.
Okay.
Unless I get that shiny money, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
So Liam, you wanted to talk about the Blitzchung
The
situation?
Blizzard, yeah, the Blizzard. I mean, I know. First of all, I'm Jenny. Welcome to the podcast. Jenny's stopping in.
Hey,
yeah,
everyone.
because Jenny's a huge Overwatch fan.
Overwatch nerd, yeah.
What? So what's the deal with this Blizzard being communist sympathizers? What's the,
It's
Go
more
straight
also
to it.
huge-
Funny because it's kind of true. It's well,
Yeah.
it comes down to money essentially. But so the backstory is that there's this game Hearthstone, which was a very very successful card game, an online card game that Blizzard made a couple of years ago,
Right.
and they had a world championship, and this Chinese kid won. And he basically, in his
Hong
winning
Kong,
speech,
Kong.
he's from Hong Kong.
I thought he was.
Okay, yeah. But, I don't recall. But anyway, he, in his victory speech, he basically, yelled out, his support for the Hong Kong protesters, and they basically, cut the feed to the
So awkward.
yeah, it was
Yeah, the two casters dove out
two
of frame.
casters hid. It was very awkward, especially from a Western point of view. It's just obviously free speech. We kind of take it for granted.
Yeah. Initially, he got suspended for a year, and so did the casters.
awesome.
Intense. And his prize winnings that he just won at this tournament got taken.
Did they really?
Initially, but then Blizzard saw a big backlash, obviously, and they ended up giving him his prize-winning backs and reducing the suspensions to 6 months for both of them, for both the player and the casters.
I would imagine that guy is going to find a different game.
Well, he got signed on a team, a Hearthstone team, to be a streamer for them.
Wow.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I don't really know
He might
that.
make more money doing that, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, I was pretty unhappy with how they handled it. It was very much money over ethics, essentially, and even U.S. congressmen from both sides were kind of giving Blizzard some backlash
Yeah,
and saying
AOC
you're too harsh.
and Marco Rubio co-penned a letter to
Insane.
literally two completely polar opposite politicians.
Yeah. So Blizzard obviously was pretty, but they were kind of awkward about it, and they just didn't even make any comments or anything. And yeah, as an Overwatch fan, I was just super. It left a bad taste in my mouth, and I uninstalled and haven't played it since
I
and
did
stuff.
as well.
I
Jenny, what about
tried.
you?
And it's
It probably lasted a couple weeks, and then the Halloween event started, and I really wanted to see all the new skins, so I
Yeah.
played a little bit, and
That's
I
okay.
felt guilty the whole time. I swear.
That's not a good. That's not a good feeling to be playing a game, though. That's not sustainable for.
No, I haven't played in a couple of weeks, if that makes any
Do
It
you
was
think-
really hard to avoid the Halloween stuff, the skins. I was
Some of the
are you
skins.
kidding me?
It's
But-
gonna be really hard to avoid Overwatch 2 as well.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Are you going to? You guys are that against it?
I want Blizzard to do something. I don't think they're going to though.
Yeah.
What would you want them to do?
Apologize, unsuspend Blitzchung and the casters. Especially the casters.
Yeah.
Just there.
Why did they get suspended? Was there speculation that they had pushed him to say that? I think that's what I heard at one
Knew
point.
that he was gonna say something
Oh.
like that. I don't know. It's just it's hard. It's especially hard because it's it feels like it's a human right thing more than anything. Because there's always the counter argument. It's well, what if somebody was saying something political that you didn't agree with? But I feel it's not that they didn't want him to say something political. It's that they specifically didn't want him to say something that was antithetical to just people's human rights,
Why can't they just do something similar to Big Brother, where they say at the very beginning of every episode everything that people say is in no way an
Yeah.
association of how CBS feels or thinks?
I would be
I'm just
okay
surprised
with
that wasn't an expectation already.
I think they need to do more. Because all they did was just vaguely apologize at BlizzCon and then drop cool looking trailers to stuff. And I feel like that was enough for a lot of people. A lot of people were Blizzard, I'm in. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? No.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was mentioning to you earlier, that this journalist that I follow, Paul Tassi, linked the trailer and said something to the effect of like, okay, but this trailer, it's kind of like a very, like, he just brushed it off. He's like, okay, let's move. I think we're good to move on because they like released a dope trailer, but
yeah, I mean, for every media outlet, they were probably like, well, we need to jump on this new story before everyone else gets to it before us. So on Overwatch's side, that was pretty accurately timed.
I'm happier that I'm no longer a Overwatch League journalist, because I would be like really conflicted. I don't want to do this. Oh, I mean, I didn't like doing it that much to begin with, even when there wasn't this. But especially now, like, it's hard for me to see, and I get it. But the people like I wrote with still being like all they tweet about is like Overwatch League and Overwatch stuff, and it's like, damn.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, even like, I don't really follow any, Overwatch heavy YouTubers too much, but like, your Overwatch will get recommended to me in videos. And while this was all like fresh and going on, I was like, I just feel weird like watching these and they don't even mention it at all, because obviously this is their livelihood.
We're going to talk about the best new DPS strategy out there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I mean, I get it. That's how they make their money. They kind of have to just go with it.
Well, that's like the problem of pigeonholing yourself into a game. Making your channel your Overwatch, and that's it. Like, yeah, you're finding a niche and you're going to blow up, but you don't control anything about the developers, how the game goes. Like, that's why it always makes me uncomfortable when people hitch their wagon exclusively to Fortnite, to Call of Duty, to, like, you're so at the whim of so many things you can't control.
Did we see a lot from any of the people that work there at Overwatch and
Yeah,
Blizzard?
well, there are people who, like, wasn't there, like, a statue that was, like, talking about defending, like, people's rights and people's right to say stuff, and they, like, covered those things, like, at the... I don't know, I think it's a hard position for those people to be in, too. Like...
That industry is super hard to get in as someone who's, like, a game developer.
Because so many people want to be game developers, to where it's, like, you have these really, like, terrible things where it's, like, crunch, and then when a game's over, they just, like, cut, like, half of the studio. Because they're like, well, we don't need all these people now, so good luck. That's just, like, a thing, an accepted practice in, like, the game industry.
Yeah, it's the same thing with film, too. Like, if you, like, work on a film, you're good for, like, a month or whatever, however long it takes to shoot it. But then once it's done, it's like, oh, you might not have work for a couple weeks if you're not on top of it, but you're so busy while you're doing your job, you're like overworked. Obviously don't have time to like look forward to the future and get something else.
Yeah, that's why I like when people. This is so off topic, but when like actors leave a show, I was like, why? Like, there's no guarantee that like you'll ever be as successful as you are right now. Like, even people who were on like The Big Bang Theory, like when Sheldon, I guess, was the big one who was like, no, I don't want to do any more seasons. It's like,
yeah, but at that point they're like
paid,
filthy rich.
Just get paid $20 million
like, they don't need $20
for 2 more years. Like,
yeah, but why though? For what? At that point, you're just doing it for the money you don't enjoy anymore. But you already have the money, so now you can go and do something more exciting.
Money is useless if you can't buy your own freedom. You know what I mean? Like, if you like achieving like financial.
But do 2 more years, and then you can put that money into whatever you want.
Maybe. It's money. Like, it depends on what money is more valuable than your time. At that point,
yeah, and imagine on Big Bang Theory, it's like probably like you want to shoot your fucking brains out because like the dialogue is so terrible. Like, I can't even stand watching it. I can't imagine like having to be the person to say that.
2 seasons of being on the Big Bang Theory, you should pay a lot more than $20 million. Like,
Jesus Christ,
need some therapy.
If anyone wants to hire me for a sitcom, I will not leave it. Oh, nope. Don't go sign.
But even like, I guess, a decent show like Walking Dead, I guess that's relative.
It has its moments.
Yeah. But, actors have left that, like Andrew Lincoln famously left it. And, I guess it's, like Liam said, it's like if you value your family time, then
Yeah,
it's
I
not
can
that
say
money.
this. I don't have any kids. I don't like.
Right.
I'm sure if you have
They-
kids, it's a harder
Yeah.
thing to be away all the time,
Yeah.
especially for him living in Atlanta while filming the show, but living in the UK like normally. That's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Going back to Overwatch though,
Yeah.
shout out
Please.
to WPI because I'm pretty sure they were.
No, they were
Competing?
on the stream.
Is
They
that what
weren't
they
the
were?
team.
Yeah, they
No,
were
it was
the
the team
team.
that either lost to them or beat
American
them.
College. Lost
Yeah, but they
to
were
them.
playing though, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. Just shout out to them.
Just
Shout out to their success.
So they beat the team that this.
They beat a
World Cup-
different team that when
Gotcha.
they lost held up a sign like "Free Hong Kong." They like cut super quick like
That's
away.
sweet.
Yeah,
Right,
I was just happy to see them out there.
yeah, that was American College.
Yeah, they have
Shout
a
out to
game
Moth.
development major, so
Shout
Oh,
out to
yeah.
Moth, who went to WPI.
Moth, yeah.
Moth, Overwatch League, San Francisco.
Mm.
wait, I'm sorry, what?
On the San Francisco Shock, you know Moth, the
Yeah.
like Lucio player, he went to WPI.
Wait, when?
I
When
think
you
at the
were
same
there.
time as you.
Yeah, when you were there.
Uh,
What?
I don't know his real name, so I can't like.
Yeah.
Was he a computer science
Ben
major?
said he was like a freshman when you guys were seniors.
Oh, then no, I never
So-
saw that boy.
yeah.
I was
Right.
like, maybe on campus,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, shout out
Damn.
Moth.
Yeah,
Shout out to
that's
Mom.
cool.
World champion right now.
I met someone in
Alma
Yosemite.
mater.
One of the first 3 people I met out there was a kid who went to WPI. It was really weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's so
crazy.
weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I love WPI.
It was nuts. He had a
Mhm.
t-shirt on, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, this
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it was funny. But hey, all right. Well, I thought that was a decent
Yeah, thought
discussion
that was
about.
good.
You guys gonna? Are you guys gonna? So you're out on buying future Blizzard products until they've changed their stance on this.
I am, and part of it too is that because I was so obsessed with Overwatch, I didn't play like any other games, and now I'm like getting back into like Gears and Metro
Yeah.
and
Oh, Metro. The new Metro is awesome.
yeah.
It's
So
really
and I'm
freaking
realizing like I haven't even played The Witcher 3 yet, because
No,
like I've been
sure.
playing Overwatch, so now I'm going back and I'm realizing like games can be fun in a non-competitive way, and you can just like
good.
have
I
interesting
don't have to
storylines.
curse out my
Yeah.
teammates.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Brian, what about you? You're out.
I gotta stand for something, right?
Jenny, you gonna be playing Overwatch 2 with me?
Liam.
No.
I don't know. Probably not.
He was getting
I've been
like,
getting real into Stardew
Diablo
Valley,
4
guys.
and Diablo 2 remaster. Let's
Oh, is there a
go.
Diablo 2 remaster coming? Yeah, dude, I'm on. There's no way. I don't give a fuck about all these commies, sympathizers, whatever. China sucks. But we gotta make them. We gotta pay the bread somehow. You
I
know.
just really miss May. I want more May in my life.
I'll be in communist propaganda movies. So like.
He was like, I'll be the evil white guy in communist
Oh,
propaganda
good.
movies.
North Korea, if they need a token like bad guy. And all
They
that.
do. North Korea makes like, with like people
Yeah.
who've defected to North Korea, like white people, they make like the movie stars and they just play like the bad guys and all their
Really?
movies.
That's
yeah.
an option. Holy fuck!
I mean, you
this.
can also do that in like India and be relatively free. So
Yeah, you just need to learn how to dance.
I got this. It's gonna be easy.
say Liam.
Oh.
A Bollywood star as a bad guy.
Or something.
It's usually the token white guy who's like in like a bar or something. You'll be like the bartender and like say something in English and they won't know what you're saying.
That's good. That's good.
That's
maybe,
fun.
maybe I have an eye patch. Could I get an eye patch?
If you want.
You do
Oh,
you.
man.
Yeah. I'm gonna get an
Tomorrow,
eye
where can we
patch.
follow you online?
On Instagram, I am at Tamur Qutab, full name, and I mean this is our channel. I guess
Yeah.
follow us on this channel.
Yeah, Liam, you got a new podcast. that
I
you're
do,
doing
yes,
with your
yeah.
friend Kevin.
Yep, yeah, I do.
I want to give a shout out to that.
I would like to.
Because after this, I'm gonna help him set up so you
So-
can actually subscribe on iTunes.
Yeah.
Love that.
So on Twitter, at real Liam Marr.
Mhm.
Instagram at mar.liam.
Mhm.
And then the new podcast with it's me and Kevin Knightley.
Friend of the show,
Yeah,
Kevin Knightley.
friend of the show. We're just kind of riffing. It's a styled show, I guess. It's called the Murders.
I love the name.
Yeah, it's called The Murders of Worcester County. And it's
Because you're
just-
playing on true
Like-
crime.
Yeah, we're just
But
playing on
it
true
just has
crime.
nothing
There's
to do
nothing
with
to do
true
with
crime.
it. We're just talking about
It's
it.
really funny.
Just
Yeah.
to get views.
Yeah, that's all it
That's
is.
what we're up to.
That will work.
Yeah, that's we have a really
So
So
spooky,
right
we're gonna
now,
get
where can
spooky
people
artwork
find
and-
it?
It's on SoundCloud.
Okay. So follow you on Twitter.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, we're gonna
pin
pin
your tweet,
Yeah.
and like then people can find
Ping
it.
your
and then
tweet.
Well,
Yeah, you
I'm
tweeted
mad
and
at
then
this
you
man. What is Twitter?
So yeah, the murders of Worcester
It
County.
was funny. It's a different style than this show. It's less. It's more short form, like very short, like shorter podcast episodes. We'll see. Right now, it was first episode was a lot of fun. It was fun to do. So.
I'm excited to hear it.
I know. I'm excited to check this out too. I'm excited to get it up and running.
Kevin goes pretty hard. So.
We don't condone anything, apparently.
Oh, it's pretty sweet. It's definitely worth a listen. Like.
Yeah, Kevin was a lot of fun to have on here.
He's very funny.
He's a funny guy, funny comedian.
Yeah, definitely.
Jenny, where can they find you online?
I'm pretty sure at this point nowhere I've hidden all my social media. I live under a rock. I also never had a Twitter. Thought it was Tweeter for about most of my life. So you tweet, it makes sense.
Right.
So just say follow the channel at
yeah, say hi to me. You can comment on Wicked Good Everything videos, and I'll always say hi. So
awesome.
Hi.
Cool. So of course you can find the channel on YouTube at youtube.com/WickedEverything. This channel is Wicked Good Podcast. You got to search it because we don't have 100 subscribers to get a custom URL, but you can help by sharing it with your friends, families, enemies, anybody you think would like it. Your frenemies. Guy at the office who you don't really have much to talk to about, so you just have awkward conversations about the weather. Show them this show. You have something in common. You have something to talk about now.
Push it and be like, yo, look at my phone.
If you want to follow the channel, as I said on Twitter, that's at WG Everything. On Instagram, at Wicked Good Everything. On Twitch, which I want to stream more. So we'll see how that goes at twitch.tv/Wicked Everything. You can follow me on Twitter at the fake BMAR. That's BMARR. We have a lot of great shows on this. We have Wicked Good Show, of course, the original podcast. And we have the Sunnydale Review. If you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you'll at least kind of like Jill, probably on that podcast. But I'm on it too. She's the real brains of the operation. I'm just there to make quips and jokes and whatnot. But it's a lot of fun. We've been enjoying that. Of course, we have new spooky videos out. Tamur did an amazing job editing. They're so good.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I fucking love them. And we hope to get more views on them. We hope to make that like a full series. And the Itch.io show. That's we're going to be filming that after this. So thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.
Bye.